Very good afternoon and welcome to Racing International. 9 races on the card. We're all very excited heading down to Kimberley today on the sand. Let's go and have a look what the track looks like. There you are, hasn't changed. Up the straight, I think the draws are pretty decent right across the track, but certainly once you go around that top turn, draws are certainly handy on the inside to middle over the 12 and 14 and even the 1600 metres. All right, let's get stuck straight into it today. It's over the 12, the first one. It's a juvenile plate for the 2-year-olds. And number 7's where we're leaning to here. Always difficult, these 2-year-old races. Some of them had a race, some haven't. And some have shown some very poor form indeed. Zaragoza could be the right one to kick it off. They put the blinkers on. It's had the one start under the belt. Money for it on debut. 10's into 4-1. Put up a decent gallop. Only beaten 6 lengths when running into 4th. JP van der Merwe also jumps aboard. Number 8, Flash Dance. I've thrown it in from the Teeny Prinsloo stable. Patel jumps aboard, drawn in barrier 8. Now, this has got the Cape Town form. Look at its last run. You probably have a heart attack, beaten 24.5 lengths. But I tell you what, it's got a little bit of speed here, and I think it's worth including. What about number 1, Afgas? This is from Craig Zaki, with Craig Zaki aboard, priced up at 6-1. Certainly would have needed its last run. It's had 2 runs on the sand now. I think this could be a little bit of a sneaker in this race. What about another sneaker, number 5? Is that worth including? Well, I think so. From the also Teeny Prinsloo stable, Gunter Roggeman jumps aboard, priced up at 7-1. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip here. Watch these horses. They shorten dramatically when they get on course. Keep an eye on it. Lightly raced 2-year-olds here. Race 2 on the card. It's a maiden plate and we're travelling over the 1600 metres. Number 2, Bank Manager. Well, it's had the 2 runs since moving down from Johannesburg and put up 2 decent gallops as well. But can it overcome that wide draw in barrier 14? That's the question everyone in the studio is talking about. They said it's one of the best bets on the card, but can it overcome that wide draw? Well, I'm not too sure. Red certainly will run better over this trip. All right, if the draw catches it out, well, certainly number 5, Bold Strategy, must have a squeak as well. That also drawn out in barrier 11, so not much of a chance there, even though I put up a decent get up last time. When they backed it from 25s into 16 on debut, actually put up a good gallop there, only beaten a length and a quarter. Well, coming out the same form lines as number 7, Roxy Babe, Gunter Roggeman, drawn out in barrier 10. Comes out the same form line as Bold Strategy, was only half a length separating them last time. Also another one out of that form line which didn't put up much of a gallop last time because it always misses the start, but every now and then it puts in a decent run. Certainly include number 6, International Fling. Ryan Munger jumps aboard, but this one is drawn nicely in barrier 1. Race 3 on the card is a merit-rated 65 handicap. 1600 metres, the trip we're travelling here. And number 4, Royal Master. Another one drawn out in the bush in barrier 14, but it's got the form certainly to win this race. There's no doubt about it. Trainer said he doesn't care about the wide draw. He's expecting a good run. So there you go. If you like a bit of this one, you're prepared to take on the wide draw. 5-1 each way. All right, where are the dangers going to come from? Well, certainly number 3, Nutbush, firm in the market now at 2-1, but another one unfortunately drawn out wide in barrier 12. Now, there's been money around for it in its last 2 outings. Got up to win its maiden last time when only having its 2nd career start on the sand. Was relocated from the Western Cape, which has stronger form down there, so wouldn't be surprised to see it run another decent race. Number 2, Gold Comet. This has got Gunter Roggeman 9-1. Certainly needed its last run under the belt, so ignore that one finishing way behind Catisse. Expect a much better run from a good draw in barrier 4. All right, number 8, Rocket Falls. Now, this has got the claim of 2.5 off the back and certainly brings it in with a decent galloping weight here of 51 kilos. But unfortunately, another horse with decent form, good enough to win this race, but also drawn out wide in barrier 10. Looks a tricky race with all the horses drawn badly, have got the decent form. Here we go, race 4 on the card of Fillies and Mares 62 handicap, travelling over the 1600 metres. And number 4, Lingerie, got up to win last time, win comfortably, didn't it? On debut by 2.5 lengths. I think there's more to come, but look at it. What's wrong with these draws today? All the decent also drawn out wide, and this one's no exception, drawn out in barrier 14. All right, if the draw catches it out, and there's a few people touting this one, number 2, Cape Grey. Now, I just put a bit of a question mark over the distance. No problem with the draw in barrier 1. That's where you want to be on the sand. Now, last time out, they put it over 1,000 metres, only went down a quarter of a length. Its previous run was over the mile and was a little disappointing after moving up there and faded out late. So that's why I've put it in for second, even though it's got a top draw. Number 3, we've been tipping this one to you for a while. This is from the Human Stable with Marco van Rensburg aboard. Now, come out and won its Fillies and Mares 62 handicap 2 starts ago over the 1400, and then disappointed last time, but that was in a Fillies and Mares 74. So drops back down in class against this lot, should be there and thereabouts. What about number 9? Is that worth sneaking in? I think so at 10-1. Having its third run back after a bit of a break, drawn nicely in barrier 2, and I think it's worth including at a decent price. Race 5 on the card is a Pinnacle Stakes, and we're travelling over the 1,600 metres. All right, number 2, Quids Rides, looks like one of the better ones today. It's had 2 runs over the course and distance, one on one of those occasions. The last time out, I thought was a decent get-up. They tried it over the 2,200 metres and actually put up in the feature race there a very good effort when only going down 2 1/4 lengths. So it was good money around. Went off favour that occasion at 18-10. Quite short again at 2-1, but gets a decent draw in barrier 4. Now, there's a couple of runners who will certainly give him a run for his money, and one of them who has a beaut over the course and distance is number 4, Jaguar. This has got JP van der Merwe, but he's drawn out wide in barrier 12. Bit unlucky with the draw there. Now, they took it up to Port Elizabeth last time and gave her a run on the poly track there. Was always handy, had every chance in the race, didn't quite go on with it over the 16. Now, coming back against this company, all it has to do is overcome the whitish draw. 8, Yes and Star. I'm going to throw this in at 16-1. Now, here's the comment from the stable. Always works incredibly well, never brings it to the track. So I'm going to stick it in here. Might be its day-to-day and draw nicely in barrier 1. Looking for one more, well, certainly number 3, Devon Gold. Marco van Rensburg at 11-2. Having its second run back after S. Look, it's an 8-year-old now, but gee, it's holding form nicely. Certainly a good comeback run on the 4th of April, when only going down a length and a half over the 1,400 metres. Maybe slight question mark here over the distance, but I'm still going to include it. Here we go, race 6 on the card, a merit rated 72 handicap. 2,200 metres, here we go, and a horse that looks very hard to beat here. Number 1, Sunny Bill, certainly was impressive over the course and distance 2 starts ago, when only just winning by a short margin of 15 lengths. Goodness me, 15 lengths. Sure, after being slow away. Anyway, then they brought it out next time on the 25th of April. That was over the 1,800 metres. Wasn't disgraced there. Only beaten length and 3/4 when running into second. Now they're going to stretch its legs back over the 2-2. Are there dangers in the race? Well, I don't really think so. But, well, if it fluffs this line, Sunny Bill will certainly number 3. Misty Power should be there, pick up the pieces with Ryan Munger aboard. Now, won a nice race going back 3 starts ago and actually hasn't done too much wrong in its last 2 outings, finishing there and thereabouts. But the trainer says, looks hard to beat Sunny Bill, but they'll be trying their best. Number 2, J Boy. Now, I've seen here the blinkers, they've popped them back on. They tried it without the blinkers last time and it all went pear-shaped, even though it had to come from well, it was up the straight, wasn't it? A reasonable draw, I suppose, 10 out of 12 there, but was a little disappointing. Anyway, they've put it back over the 2,200 metres, which will much better suited here, and priced up at 6-1. All right, I've thrown in number 6, Chisholm. This is coming off a long break of 490 days. But just had a look at its form, even though it's an 8-year-old. I reckon just pop this in from a decent draw in barrier 1. I know it's coming off a long break, but I tell you what, the stable comment was, just keep an eye on this, may run into the money. So there you go, obviously doing some decent work at home. Race 7 on the card is a merit rated 72 handicap. 1,400 metres where we're going here, and number 3, El Katish, won nicely last time by 2.5 lengths. Picked up a 2-kilo penalty for that win. 22-10 the price. I reckon it's going to make it 2 in a row. It's won 2 of its last 4 starts, certainly in very good form at the moment. Number 1, Salesman. Well, it's coming off a break of 164 days. Now, if you have a look at its last run on a comeback on the 27th of November, since then, McDessie's come out and run 2 places in a row. We actually tipped McDessie the other day when it ran into third at 33-1, and I reckon if it can just repeat that form, it's certainly not out of it, even coming off a break. What about the 7? Well, this one's from the Willem Smith stable. Now, it's got the apprentice. He can only claim 2 of his 2.5 kilos here, but certainly brings him still in with a decent weight of only 51. Going to be 2 kilos better off to El Catis for only a 2.5 length beating last time, but it is second run back after a rest. Number 5, Autumn Encore, 6-1. Francie Herald, drawn in barrier 3. Certainly put up a couple of decent gallops in its last couple of outings, including its last effort when only beaten 2 3/4 lengths over the 1,200 metres. That was a good effort when running into third. Also a winner over the course and distance in 2 places from only 6 starts. Race 8 on the card is a Fillies and Mares 80 handicap. 1,200 metres is where we're going here, and number 4, Slick Deputy, Randall Simons, 4-1. Certainly some decent form on the sand when running up here at the Vale before they closed the track down. Its last 2 starts on the sand were, it won by 3.5 lengths. That was back on the 13th of October, and then followed up with only a 2-length beating when running into second. Now, they were both over the 1,000 metres. Now steps up to the 1,200. Now, I'm going to give you a bit of a stat here. It's had 8 runs over the distance and run 3-4. So that might be slightly against it, but remember, it is definitely taking on weaker company today. Number 2, Duke's Idol, certainly a bit of a chance, drawn perfectly in barrier 1. Remember, over the 1,200 metres, they jumped straight on the top turn. And here's the comment from the stable, working extremely well and a decent price at 5-2. Caribbean Bay, number 1, they also say the stable, also working well and worth including in the trifectas at 10-1. Hasn't got the best draw, though, in barrier 9. Number 3, Razzle My Tazzle, Timothy Pretorius, drawn nicely in barrier 2. Well, certainly course and distance suited here. Had 9 runs, 3 wins, 2 seconds and 2/3. So goes pretty well here. And pop it in your trifectas at 7-1. Lucky last on the card is race 9, and it's a merit-rated 64 handicap. Over the 1,200 metres, and number 8, Jet Swinger. Blinkers go on today. I think it's a pretty open-looking race here, and I'm going to go with a bit of each-way value here. Drawn in nicely in barrier 4, priced up at 7-1 each way. Note those blinkers go on. It might be a bit of a lurker for you today. Number 5, Victory Silks, Randall Simons. Well, this one isn't drawn the best. It's drawn out a bit wide in barrier 10. Went back to its last sand run, was at the Vale against Stronger Company on the 9th of June. Absolutely trotted in there, coming out the maidens, winning by 5.5 lengths. Been a winner out of there. Now dropping down to this sort of class today in Kimberley. Certainly got to be rated, but also drawn out a bit wide in barrier 10. And the stable recommended to us that let's throw in the 9 as well. My Name is Bond. Comes off a break of 94 days. Put up a good gallop 2 starts ago. That was on the poly track down at Greyville in KwaZulu-Natal. That was over the 1,600 metres. Now comes back to the 1,200 today. Also, maybe one throwing in here is number 1, First Sea Lord, drawn a bit wide in barrier 13, but gets the valuable claim of 2.5 off the back. Now carries 57.5, and there's also a little bit of value there. Found a bit of outside support, now into 5-1. Yeah, we're always very excited about Kimberley. We get some upsets down there, so play a bit wider where you can afford to. A few of the horses to improve lengths down there. We're going to be putting up all our selections at our Twitter account at Racing in Tips. From myself, Rod McCurdy, and all the team, we wish you a very successful start to the week.